Take 27. Just kidding. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the
MADE Fitz Show.
We're in the same room.
And I'm actually on it.
Yeah.
Let's just address the elephant in the room. I realize I've not been on the last 30 episodes. Maybe a little sarcastic 30, but I apologize. I'm juggling a bajillion things right now, but I'm still a part and I'm still here. And 2025, you're gonna have a little bit more of me, I promise.
A little more, Lauren.
A little more. Some of you are like, no, we did not miss you.
Oh, not. But it is, I mean, podcasting is tough. It seems to be very popular these days, but it is very time consuming and does absolutely take forethought, and you have to rearrange your whole schedule, and cancellations happen, bad internet happen. I mean, there's just so much that goes into podcasting. It's tough. So I know that she's here when she can, and it'll only get better from here. Only get better from here. So today we wanted to, since we were together, how long have we known each other? You're better at this than I am.
Almost 10 years.
Yes.
10 years in October.
Really?
Yeah.
Time goes by.
It does.
So you were just a baby.
I was.
In your 30s.
I was a little baby 35-year-old.
That's barely in my 40s.
Yeah.
But anyway, we've learned a lot about each other over the past 10 years.
Yes.
I mean, I think if there's one thing I can say, it's who I met 10 years ago is the exact same person. I mean, you were
same.
You didn't put a front up. You were but we just thought that we would take the time to just kind of, especially spending the last week together. Luna's in here chasing a fly, so you can see a random cat.
Don't worry. She'll get it.
Yeah. She's a really good cat to have in this, well, except for she got sick eating something, but she's a really good cat to have in this area. Squirrel moment. But anyway, just to kind of talk about, so you could, I know that Dr. Lauren, from this point on, Lauren, is very professional on your social media, and you use social media for your business and not so much personal. I do too. The only reason you see the personal side is because, Mick and I have, we'll eventually have Airbnbs.
Yes.
And we, do a lot in Mexico. So I want to be informative about Mexico, but I also want to have the opportunity to have this platform not only be about health and nutrition, but also about people that like to travel. So you see that too. And it's not like I'm just talking about travel for travel's sake. There's a business mind behind there.
Yes.
And so we just thought we'd share a little bit about each other.
Yes, absolutely. And I think we throw in finance stuff every now and then as well, because if you really want to be able to travel, you have to be good with finances.
Yeah.
And it's never too late. If you grew up with a poor man's mentality, it is never too late to learn how to make money work for you. So maybe that's where we start.
Well, yeah, the podcast that I recorded yesterday with she was a lawyer turned now just huge into finances and helping with women. She just constantly talks about it's very abundant. Don't apologize for wanting to make money and stuff like that. And I think a lot of us women do have that guilt of wanting to have more wealth.
Yep.
I don't think I do. Do you?
I think yours is all about the chase of accomplishing something that someone told you couldn't.
Oh yeah.
Whether it was your mom being told that you wouldn't be able to walk, much less, do all the things you've done, to you can't stay in the Burj Al Arab or Burj, is that right?
Yeah.
The place that we stayed in Dubai.
Yes.
I mean, you're all about tell me I can't and I'll show you will.
Show us we can't own land and land ocean. How many people have told me, but they're like, but you can't own
Ocean
beach.
property.
Yeah. And they're like, oh, well, someone forgot to tell us
Let me show you.
But we did find out talking, you don't know this, we went to a birthday party yesterday. Our builder of this house had a 1-year-old birthday party. It's adorable. And he was telling us, I'm going mutilate the word, fettuccine or something like that. It's that word. We've had to get those both times here in Tulum and then in Cabo. We had to get this document. But you don't have to get, you only have to get it if you get it, if the house is close to the border or close to the ocean.
Huh.
So it's, I guess that means it's more prime real
Right.
estate. And so
Yeah,
you have to
makes
get the
sense.
fettuccine. Make what's so loud.
Whatever the word is.
It's a beautiful word. So you don't always have to get that. Like if you were to get land like in Mexico City or something like that, anybody could just get that, but you
Yeah.
have to apply for this
Yeah.
certain, and it's not the easiest thing to get, and it's very time consuming, but it is something that you have to get. But you can get any property you want in Mexico. There's just sometimes it's a little bit different.
So when we first talked, the very first time that we talked on the phone, I didn't realize that I even wanted to learn how to be a business savvy entrepreneur, but I heard something in your voice that made me realize like, ooh, I think I have this in me too.
Mhm.
It was the whole, like, if you have these passions and these gifts that can help other people and you can make a lot of money doing it, it's the best of both worlds.
Mhm.
And you can do it in a authentic way, a way that you're not scamming people and you make
Mhm.
good money. And then you help people doing it. And then you take that money and do bigger and better things.
Right.
And here we are 10 years later.
Yeah. Yeah. In a much better place than both of us were 10 years ago.
Absolutely.
And again, this is obviously a podcast that if you are interested in, being financially secure, you can listen to the lady that her name is slipping my mind at the moment, that I did the podcast, Shamina Taylor. There you go, Melissa. That she spoke.
We haven't gotten her fully hormone optimized yet, just for the record. Okay. We're only like 6 months into it.
We need to talk about it.
Yeah.
It's been a great experience.
Yes.
But Shamino talked about how I forgot what we were talking about. See,
Finances.
but there was something specific that she said.
Because how much we've changed in the last 10 years. It'll come to me.
So, oh yeah, that's what I wanted to say. But anyway, she's a really good one to listen to because she had she was very, very poignant about
just how to be smart with money.
Of course, that was the whole podcast. Anyway.
Yeah. So, and let's just also address the other elephant in the room. If you can hear it in the back, if you can hear it in the background, this is them investing in making their property even more valuable. So there's some excavating happening next door. So if you hear the excavator, sorry, that's, it is what it is.
It's life.
Yes.
Wish you could see the view though, with the lighting, it won't allow, but it's a beautiful green view. But one of the things I want to point out too is, so we had a garage built on this because this development, you're not really supposed to have a garage, but Mick worked his way around it like he always does. And he had a garage built and he brought down a Toyota truck and went to put it in the garage and is that much too short. And so they were going to just expand the garage, which would have been less expensive than building this garage. And then when he told me he was just going to have a new garage built, instantly I'm like, it's because you're a man and you want all this space and blah, 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 blah. And I was mad because it was going to be more money. And then I overheard him telling my stepdad that his mindset was, okay, so we can fix this garage and spend, about half as much as it would to build a new garage. He said, but it doesn't increase the value of this home because nobody knows that you had to spend that money to just fix the garage. He says, but by building this new garage on the other property, he says, we're increasing the value substantially. And I'm like, okay, you are smart.
Yes.
You are a little bit, because I don't think that way.
Nope.
I'm like, I don't want to spend money, but he's like, we have to spend more money because it will make us more money. And that's always where his mentality is, which I know he helped you with this morning.
You guys, I literally, that if that would be a consultant, that probably would have charged me a lot of money, but I got that consulting advice for free.
Yeah, you did.
And I got to ask all the questions of what's the next step for me in as far as real estate goes and how to just, maximize all of my businesses.
How to optimize.
Exactly.
You optimize our hormones, we optimize your
Exactly.
I say we, not me.
Yeah.
I know nothing. I don't.
Whatever.
I don't. The yin and yang. He, I can make money. He knows how to spend.
He knows how to spend it for sure.
Alex, our builder, looked at me once and he looked at me and he said, you make the money. And he goes, and he certainly knows how to spend it. And I'm like, yes, he does.
Yes, he does. He does.
And you're very, very lucky for that.
So 10 years ago, when we first talked on the phone, and I think we've talked about this before. I had no idea that you were even a Beachbody coach. So I didn't know that you were trying to sign me up to be a coach. I just heard of the opportunity to take my passions that helps people and make money from it, because I just spent, that was 2015. So I'd been on YouTube for 4 years and made $0, even though I grew the channel to 325,000. Everyone thinks I made so much money off of that. And I made $0 because music copyright. And so I was like, wait, you're telling me that I can actually use my desire to help people get healthy and make money? And then fast forward to 2020. So that was 5 years later. And I mean, let's be real. I kind of started half-assing my Beachbody business probably around 2019. I just kind of, I don't know.
There's just the passion wasn't there, and
Totally.
There's some people that will work even if they hate it because of the money.
Yeah.
And then there's just some people like, I don't care how much money you give me, if there's no passion, I don't align with it, I can't put my energy into it. I remember what Shamina said. So she said,
you knew it.
Yes. She said, which is what you reminded me, is she said that, you have to just sit down and think about things that you are good at naturally. And in your mind, you're like, everybody's good at this, but no, they aren't.
Correct.
Makeup, hair, decorating, cooking, pet care, it doesn't matter. And you just have to sit down and figure out what you just comes naturally easy to you, that doesn't come easily to other people.
Right.
And people will pay for it.
Yes.
You and me both, I have lashes on, you have mascara on, and that's about it.
Yep.
We're not makeup girls, but if we ever had to, I would absolutely pay for a tutorial on how to apply makeup, to the mid-hair skin, to
Yep.
the overfit, because I have no clue. And I know that if I just watch any tutorial of a 25-year-old putting makeup on, that's not going to work for a 50-year-old. And so I would seek out. And so if there's a 50-year-old woman out there saying there's nothing for me to do out there, to make income or to build my reach or my following or engage more people. And it's like, yeah, you're 50 and you put makeup on beautifully. And you think it's everybody and nobody, I don't know how.
Right.
So that's what she said. And I really appreciated that. That's kind of how I started. I told her I started with a free ebook on fasting, just to, to give people a taste of, what my passion was and what I had studied, found a huge passion for.
Yep.
And then I made a $10 ebook, and then I've just kept growing from there, I ended up making a course. And so start with, and I asked Shameen, I said, do you think you could start? Because she always is like, you got to ask what you feel like you're worth.
Yeah.
Because she says people undervalue themselves so much
all the time.
And I said, well, then what about a free content? And she says, no, absolutely. She says that's where you feel you need to start. Then, put something out that didn't take a whole lot of time, because you're not going to get a return on investment in that. But start with something free or something really super inexpensive and start building your brand and just something that you are passionate about.
So one of the families that lives in one of the units that I bought the fourplex in last year has 2 adult kids. So, one's like 19 and one is like 20 or 21. And they're both females, but they both still live at home with their parents. And the younger one, who I think she's 19 or 20, I remember when I was looking at the unit, the realtor was showing me around and she was like, you're looking to buy this? And she was kind of like confused because I'm a female. And I was like, yeah. And she goes, that's cool.
Aww.
And then she, like, when I bought it, she was like, I really thought it was cool that I know. And so I sent her a few different things and I'm like, look, you need to learn how to change the money legacy for your family, because her family has been living in this same tiny, 2 unit for 18 years. And I was like, so I gave her some resources. I'm like, look, start listening to audiobooks and you can listen to them for free at the public library. I mean, there's so much information out there. I was having this conversation just the other day. I still, even though the United States has its flaws, and let's not even talk about all of the money that has been stolen from us. Thank goodness Doge is here, but that's not the point of this. But this is the land of opportunity. And if you have the will, there is a way.
Absolutely.
But too many people are too lazy to just take the next step and figure out how to turn their passions into financial freedom.
And you will use the excuse that it's it's confusing, it's time consuming, the fear of failure, all of those things. But Motley Crue has this lyric.
Motley Crue on our
Crue. I am
love
Motley
it, of
Crue.
course.
If you want to live life on your own terms, you got to be willing to crash and burn. And Mick has, he's got 2 sleeves, and one of his is kind of his life story, and the other one is like 80s rock, and so that was one of the. I don't think it made it on his arm, but it's one of those that quotes that I always hear in my head.
Yeah.
Anytime that something I consider wanting to do, like it was even just the other day, I'm like, because I don't have anything that I'm working on. And I'm like, I probably could once again revise, the MADE diet, because I have changed.
Yes.
Since I've given it a revision once, but I would love to revise it a little bit more and stay up to the times with my own education and what I've learned. And so that's going to make me uncomfortable. It's going to be work. It's going to take me away. It's going to take relaxation time away and stuff like that. But I'm passionate about it. It's going to help other people. And it's going to increase revenue.
Another source of income. Absolutely. And you got to diversify your different sources of income.
Right.
Your job right now that is paying you per hour that money has to invest in your next source of income. So you can start having 2 sources of income, and then a 3rd source of income, and then a 4th source of income. Because here's the thing. Melissa and I will always be very real with you. If you want to do the stuff that we do, you're going to have to work hard for it. No one handed it to us. And it's funny because the girl who lives or used to live in the unit that I am about to move into, when I initially told her she's going to have to move out, she was pissed. And she was like, you have the money, you can live anywhere. And people are so quick to just assume like, oh, you're rich, you can do whatever. Honey, let me tell you how hard I've worked, and nothing has been given to me. And Mick and Melissa, neither of them grew up wealthy. I definitely didn't grow up wealthy. Middle class, and I was grateful. I never had to worry about a roof over my head or food in my belly. And my parents paid for my college. And then after that, I've been on my own since 21. And no one has ever handed me anything. I've never won the lottery, had any, big rich family member pass down money to me. We've worked hard. But like, if you want to, be able to escape and go to the jungle of Mexico and whatever, like, you're going to have to be intentional about how are you going to get there? But you can.
Yeah. And you and I are always comparing and aligning your health to your wealth, because both of them take a long time. Both of them take discipline. Both of them take consistency. You can't be lax for a long period of time with the way you spend or the way that you eat, or you're going to set yourself back really far. So the parallels are crazy. And I do feel, generally speaking, that people who take care of themselves, understand how to take care of their wealth, and vice versa. They understand, not necessarily that they all do, but they understand that. You mentioned multiple streams of income. Shamina had mentioned that she has 7 or 9. And I'm thinking, Mick and I have, direct sales, we have real estate, we have
affiliates.
Yes. What I do as a nutritionist. He, buys and sells cars and working on the Airbnbs and flips and Airbnbs, long-term rentals, buying stuff.
Yeah. So it's easy to look at Melissa and be like, man, I want her life. But remember all of the stuff that is going on behind the scenes. Like nothing good in life comes easily.
And you're the same way. I mean, you're now multiple stream of income too.
Not as many as you, but I'm on my way.
I know you're doing pretty good. Pretty damn good. So we went on. I wanted to do this podcast because it's always. I mean, we're always trying to take care of our listeners in all the ways that we can. But I really don't think people know you on a super deep level. You're very blunt and on. It's so honest.
Too blunt for some people.
Yeah,
not
to change the subject, because we'll go back. But a couple of days in, and you're sitting on the couch and you said something about my appearance. And I said, okay. I said, I've been wanting to ask you this. and it's hard, especially to ask this one, because I know she'll be 100% honest with me. And I'm like, she hasn't seen me for a while. I'm like, thinking of, living the stress of, she knows now privately, the hard work and the stress that Mick and I have gone through. It's private, but there's ups and downs. Not us, I mean, we're great marriage wise, but just life. And so I'm like wondering how I'm faring. I just turned 51, and I'm like, I don't look. And you said good, but I was just like, because I knew
you were ready just in case it wasn't good.
I mean, you got the aesthetic spa. She knows, all the great tricks for anti-aging. She's a medical doctor, and I'm like, she ain't gonna give it to me as straight as and I want to know, but I'm prepared for it. Well, you can tell you've gone through some shit. Which you did, so thank you. But she is extremely honest and blunt. I think that's, like she said before, we're both. I would be honest before I would be anything else with you guys. I don't care how much
But you're
money.
so much nicer about it when you're honest.
Yeah. Oh, multiple streams,
Yes.
I even forget, like, my app. I have an app,
Yes.
and I love the app because it makes, for people who love to track food, so simple.
Yes.
I forget. And that's one of the maybe I'm not optimized yet, but one of the things, like, I wake up in the morning and I'm like, gosh, it's been a couple of days since I've talked about, Hugh and Grace. And I think they're so important to people's health.
Yes.
To lessen that toxic burden. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, I haven't talked about the app for a couple of days. So that's the tricky part about it is the juggling. If you've got one stream of income, you're an OnlyFans girl. I don't know. You gotta
no judgment.
You've got to make the next
picture. But judgment.
You've got to think, where am I gonna do my photo shoot today? Then it's not too difficult.
Yeah.
I'm very jealous. And the simplicity of it all, I should say. But when you have multiple streams of income, or you're trying to juggle a bunch of balls or spin a bunch of plates, it does get tough.
Well, and that's the thing. So Melissa and I, we are so much aligned, and probably, I would say 97%, maybe even 98%. There's very few things I'm like, I don't agree with that.
Men.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. But what's I gonna say? Damn. Shiza.
Can you tell we just sat down and decided to talk to you guys?
We literally had no plans behind this. So it was going to be a good one.
I know. I thought mine was too, and that's
it will come to me.
Yeah,
it will come to me.
We just
multiple streams of income. Oh, that's what it was. So we don't want to ever feel like we're only here to use you, right? Because we all know those social media influencers that they really only care about how much money is in their pocket. This is the same reason why when I first opened Larimar MADE, I didn't sell supplements, because I didn't want my patients to think that I'm just here to convince you need 20 different supplements every single month and you need to buy them from me. But then I realized that the supplements that are sold at Costco or Amazon or whatever are crap. And so I really do believe in supplements. I now don't believe that you need near as much as I thought you did back 25 years ago. But again, it's a balance of we want to always have a guaranteed, like, we value your time, and we want you to understand that whether you're listening to us on our podcast, watching our social media, our stories, whatever, you are going to find value. But we also are sharing the products that we are very passionate about. We were just talking about yesterday. I mean, Mick was like, she will not consider any product that she doesn't absolutely love. And she could make way more money. Both of us could make way more money if we were just kind of affiliate whores.
Well, I'm sorry, but you'll see someone, like, you guys didn't know this, but I used to suffer from anxiety, and this fixed it. And it's like, you never mentioned anxiety before.
Or let's just talk about all the social media famous people that jump on each bandwagon. And I mean, I have two females that are very well known by all of y'all, and I'm not going to call them out, but gut health. Oh yeah, let's become a gut health expert. No, now it's hormones. Let's become a hormone expert, but I didn't go to medical school. Like, I just, don't get me started.
It's like, what's next? What's the next craze?
Yeah.
Actually, not that we need to get into it, but we've talked a lot about starting all the way back to the days of low fat diets to high fat diets to now high protein diets to gut health extremely important. You are not a healthy person if your gut is not on point. Hormones, you are not a healthy person unless your hormones are on point. But you and I talked about this as well, and I don't know if you want to elaborate on this at all. But no, her and I have been talking about peptides, and I shared with her a peptide that I'm taking. It's the only one I'm taking right now, but it's called Glow, and it's got copper. I can't remember the other one, but it's an anti-inflammatory, and it's got BPC 157 in it, and it's supposed to be really good for skin health. And you guys, everybody knows my battle with skin health because I lived in a tanning bed and I lived in the sun my whole 20s and 30s. So
yeah, when I met you in 2015, the first time that we were on a vacation together was the cruise that you.
those pictures,
Man,
yeah. So I look so dehydrated.
Yes, your skin was terrible then.
Yes, yes.
Terrible.
Yes.
So you definitely not far. There's some reverse aging happening.
Yes.
Yes.
And so this is the newest one for me, is
Yeah.
to replenish, because copper is very important for health. I mean, you can overdo copper. So you got to, don't just decide you want to start taking copper supplementation. That's not how it works, but it is beneficial.
But so many people just hear someone and go and take it all. The amount of patients that I see that are on a laundry list of 30 supplements every day just because they heard this influencer talking about this and this and that. And it's like, come on, people.
It's so much money.
Yeah.
And so many have the same ingredients too.
Yep.
And they have no idea. I
Yep.
mean, they're taking 7 different types of or not 7 different types, but 7 different sources of magnesium, and therapeutic sources of or therapeutic amounts of magnesium is great. A lot of people could use that, but I mean, they're like 100, 150, 100.
But magnesium is one of those electrolytes that if you have too little or too much, you can cause heart issues. So you don't want to overdo stuff like magnesium or potassium because they can literally cause cardiac arrhythmias. So
Doctor has spoken.
Exactly. But so briefly, because I want to start talking about peptides as I become more and more educated. So for those of you that don't know, 2024 was my year to become basically a BHRT expert. And I feel like I can hang with the best of the best. The amount of hours that I have spent listening to lectures, and I mean, it's pretty crazy, right? So this year, 2025, I'm planning on doing essentially the same thing with peptides. And so I don't start teaching on things until I know it like the back of my hand. And so that's why you haven't heard me talk about stuff like BPC 157, also known as Wolverine peptide. But I'm diving into the peptides. I'm actually speaking at Dr. Seed's Institute at the Peptide Congress this summer at Vegas. So, which is kind of cool. Dr. Seed's is big deal. He's got 1.4 million followers online.
He's trusted.
Yes. He's an orthopedic surgeon, so he's an MD. But when I talked to him, and his son works for him and is his main person that coordinates everything. So I got on a Zoom with both of them, and he proceeded to tell me that basically you don't know the story why my dad started the Seeds Institute, do you? And I'm like, no, because he was outside of the box. Like, he wasn't invited to speak at any of the other societies because he didn't, like, if it didn't make sense, he wasn't going to do it. And so that's the thing, like the Menopause Society, a lot of their recommendations don't make sense to me. It makes sense if you know whose pockets are being lined by their recommendations that are not science backed. And so Dr. Seeds was like, screw you guys, I'm going to do my own institute. And now it's it's probably the most respected peptide institute. And I'm going to get to speak there this summer.
I'm excited for you to learn it.
I'm kind of excited too. But yesterday I don't ever tell people what I'm doing until I've already done it. Like when I was using semaglutide, I didn't tell anyone until after I had done it so I could use it so I was telling them, and I'm going to just give you a little taste. But right now I'm reverse dieting. So I'm carrying a little bit more extra calories every day. And then I'm going to do a peptide combo cocktail and combine it with a few things. So I always have something that I'm doing and experimenting on myself. But yeah, but I do think that that's why you guys trust us so much, is because we try it on ourselves first. And then once I see what works for me, then I start using it in my patients, and then I start sharing it online. Right. And ultimately, I think that that's why a lot of people feel comfortable doing business with both of us, because we're an open book. Yeah. And
honestly. And I neither of us are. I would never take just something I've heard research or studies that have proven it if I can test it on myself.
Yeah.
I still need that personal affirmation, like, because, studies and trials and all that stuff are good, but flawed.
Yeah.
And so to have the opportunity to be like, just let me give myself, I mean, I took this collagen, this amazing, German collagen for 6 months because, the science was showing that it was very beneficial for skin and actually reduced, I always hesitate to say this because I feel bad. I don't have any cellulite, but it also reduced cellulite, so that I wasn't doing it for that because I couldn't test myself for that.
Right.
But of course, the skin health.
Yeah.
And I took it for 6 months before I was like, nope.
Well,
It didn't work for me.
I feel the same about AG1. I could have
Oh.
easily done an affiliate. I
Oh,
drank that for a year every day.
Mhm.
And I was like, I never felt a difference. My labs didn't look different. I didn't. So it's an
Yeah.
expensive supplement to take.
Yeah, it is.
And I've seen a lot of people that assume that their vitamin D from their AG1 is enough. No, it's not.
No.
It's not. You need to get a good quality vitamin D, whether it be through her Metagenic links or Mylar Med links. Spend the money. I promise you it's worth it.
Mhm.
You'll actually get what the label says. Just saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Where else do we want to go?
I want you, because you've seen behind the scenes, and only a few friends of ours do. Mick and I, Mick's not in my social media hardly at all, so people don't feel like they really know him. But 35 years together, and you always giggle at us because she's like, you're the like two old people, that just we constantly, bicker. I nag him. That's really what it is.
And roll your eyes at it.
Oh, constantly. Because he's so animated. He's so
That's an
passionate.
understatement of
Yes.
the year.
And he does embellish. Like, okay, so Luna, we came home from going out to dinner, and Mick and I couldn't find Luna anywhere. And we took flashlights and went outside.
I went up to bed, so I didn't know this
you
happened.
didn't, yeah. And probably looked for her for 15, 20 minutes.
According to Melissa.
Yeah, he wakes up we wake up the next morning, she's upstairs on the rooftop having her coffee, and she says, I was asking Mick why you slept in a little bit. And he said, because we were looking for Luna for an hour and a half. And I'm like,
No, we weren't.
15 minutes, maybe. That's just Mick. He's got to make a story better.
He's got a great storytelling.
Yes, he does. And so sometime, and I'm good with that, but going back to, I'm such an honest person that if he's saying something that isn't honest, even though it's just,
no, it's not.
and yeah, half the time he just doesn't remember, or he's just trying to make his story a little better. He used to get in trouble as a kid for that,
Oh yeah,
all the time
that
with the
doesn't surprise
teachers.
me at all.
So, and I can take it, and I'll see them like, no, no, right. I can't bottle it in anymore. I feel so bad, but I'm just like,
Yep.
it's not true.
Yep. No, you two, and then my best friend Jamie and her husband Chris. You two, I always tell both of y'all need to write a book on how to do marriage, because living under the same roof with the same person for that long, it's not easy. And I know that y'all had your difficult times that you've been open with, but y'all love it. Y'all are each other's person, even though he gets on your nerves. And sometimes I don't think you get on his nerves. I think
he only gets, he gets tired of me being on top of him. But it's not like we have 9-to-5 jobs. It's not like we kiss each other in the morning and then come home, and have dinner together and watch TV and go to bed. We are together 24/7.
Yes.
And so it's a testament to, we do like each other.
And you are an introvert, and after having dated a true introvert, like I understand, like y'all need to have your quiet time so you can recharge your batteries. People like me and Mick, who are not, I have a side of me that's introvert, but now I understand what real introverts are. I'm not 100% introvert. Let's be real.
Yeah.
I don't need time to recharge my batteries away from people, but it's.
Yeah. Well, yesterday, you were doing your telemedicine, and Mick was, working on the house and his motorcycles. And I went to the gym, and that drive to the gym was a recharge.
Exactly.
I was by myself. And before I left, we went for a walk. And Mick said, he says, are you sick of having company yet? And I'm like, absolutely not. And he said, he goes, she is so low maintenance, low key. He goes, she's so easy to have around. He goes, there's not very many people that, and he gave examples of other friends that I have that are a little bit tougher.
That we won't call you about.
Because they've got different routines, or just.
You're higher maintenance. If you listen, you high maintenance.
It's a good word. And you're not.
No.
Oh my gosh, you could almost, and yesterday we went to a birthday party where she's doing telemedicine, and I felt completely comfortable leaving you, knowing that you're a big girl and you can, you know, make your own lunch. And so, very, very, very lucky.
Yeah. No, but you and Mick truly are a rare gem. And
Very rare.
I think it's smart that he is not on social media.
He's very opinionated.
Yeah.
And there's so many times, you know, I'm wanting to put him, you know, in a story or something, and he'll say something, I'm like, I can't.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's
Because if you don't know him, you don't, you just, I don't know.
You can't appreciate,
Yeah.
I mean, because that is one thing, he will always like, he cares. He really does care.
Yes.
But sometimes the care doesn't translate into truly like, he's just coming from a place of love.
Yeah. He has no, he has no internal voice at all. And so when he's mad, he's verbally mad. You know, he's yelling at his phone, he's yelling at his wrench, he's yelling at the other driver, and being the empath that I am. That's difficult.
Oh, yeah.
But 35, I can't change it.
No.
I tried.
No.
Change it. But
I mean, it's like now I appreciate how my mom is with my dad now, because so I'm 45, so they're about to celebrate 47 years. And like, I don't know how long it took her to be married to him to realize like, this is how Carol is and I can't change. So I can either embrace it and not let it, you know, take away my energy, or it will literally ruin my soul just trying to change him. And I think, you know, I think we need to go back and have people like you guys and you know, my best friend Jamie, like y'all need to teach the younger generation like how to prepare to be a good wife, a good husband. So you only have to do it once.
Well, and we can move on to the next subject, but as far as relationship goes, you know, with you, you know, looking for your soulmate right now. I knew you said this years ago, and I think it was a book that you got about female and male energy. And when I talked to Shamina Taylor, and then I talked to Becca as well, great interview. They both actually brought up female and male energy as well. And I always relay it back to you because I had never heard of that, but how important it is for you, our female listeners, there'll be times that you'll have that male energy when it comes to making really important decisions or working in your finances, that kind of a thing. But there's also that feminine power that we need to have, and especially for our men. And that's something that you know, you said you were working on, so that, you know, you attract a nice, strong man, because you are so.
I want him to be the head and me to be the neck. I don't want to be the head. You can only have one head.
Yeah.
And I mean, truly, like that's, I mean, well, men have two heads. Yeah. We were talking about that. I knew that's where the ear look went.
Sorry. I do have a dirty mind.
Y'all, for real. We had such an amazing conversation about sex yesterday in the drive. I'm not going to tell you about it, but I laughed so hard. And then I had a dream last night, and I won't tell you about the dream, but it was definitely responsible from that conversation. Yes. But these are the things that it's appropriate to keep private from social media. I mean, truly, the more open you are on social media, the more opportunities you give people to come and just attack the core of the most important things.
Yes.
So, I mean, looking back, I wish that I would have kept my relationships, you know, private, because that's, it's just not good. But yeah, no, you and Mick are legit. You're good humans. You're perfect together. Y'all are yin and yang for sure. But you have such big hearts, and you make a lot of money, but you also use a lot of that money for good and help a whole lot of people. Yeah. She literally feeds all of the wild animals, y'all. Legit. There's this hole in the street, the dirt road that leads to this house. And every time we go on a walk, she brings food for this iguana that lives down in the hole. Can't make that shit up. Like literally.
Who was it for him though to come out of his hole and go, oh,
I'm done today. Yeah. And she carries dog treats with her, just like you see on social. It's real. It's not a front. It's not just to be like, oh, look.
Oh, it still did it.
We're
talking about that. Yeah. Well, I went out yesterday because our workers, we can talk about, we were on a walk, and this it's just such a different way of life here. And we were told that the workers just live out here in the jungle, that they just make campsites. Okay, you know, that's what you hear. So we're taking our walk and two of our workers literally come walking out of the jungle, out of the
Yeah.
thick greenery with two dogs. And that, you know, they bring the dogs here. And so we assume that the dogs are to help protect them because
We're in the jungle.
there's jaguars in this
Yeah.
area. So the dogs are there for that. And they looked a little skinny. And so I had to make my dog food and I went out there yesterday and, you know, fed the dog and I almost grabbed my phone, you know, and I'm like, you know what? I don't want you guys to think that I record everything that I do. I certainly don't.
No, no.
And the only reason I do that kind of stuff is because I hope that it sparks of, oh, I can buy a couple of bags of dog food and keep them in my car or
Right.
you know, have a thing of electrolytes. Maybe you find a bird, it's a summer day and, you know, the bird's dehydrated. You can, you know, give the bird a little bit of electrolytes or
Give them an idea to pick up trash when they're walking the beach.
Yeah. Yeah. But talk about that beautiful beach we were on, what a problem it is. Be responsible
all
with
of
your
that-
plastic.
All of that African trash.
Heaven forbid locals, you know, and the tourists leave trash. Mick was trying to convince Lauren that because if you just go that way, you're going to run into Africa, that all of that trash has made it across the Caribbean Sea and has landed on this beach. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna call BS on that.
Yeah. I had to.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's not true.
But there was a lot of trash that is
so
sad.
bad. It's so bad. I mean, it's stunning beach.
Stunning beach.
But there's
Besides the trash
Mhm.
and
And-
moss.
And it's, you know, I think because it being, you know, a health conscious and it's my, you know, my field, my passion, you see it's fast food. It's
Yeah.
the Coca-Cola bottles, it's, you know, wrappers from chips and stuff like it's fast food.
Although y'all, I've drank
Excuse.
soda since I've been here.
Yeah. That's why some people don't know about me. You know, I love a good diet soda. And so we've got, and Mick likes his Captain and Diet, you know, sorry. But we went to a bar the other day and Mick ordered a Captain and Diet. And he said, so you want a skinny pirate? Isn't that the cutest name for it? And Mick's like, he's like, no, Captain and Diet. He goes, yeah, you want a skinny pirate?
Okay. Brilliant.
Anyway, Mick
Brilliant.
loved those. So we always have them. And so when I feel the need, I'll grab a diet soda. I used to have a total addiction to them. I'd have 3 a day and my joint, I could feel it in my joints.
I didn't know that.
So bad. Yeah. Diet Wild Cherry Pepsi was my addiction.
Wow.
And I completely broke free of it. Now I just, you know, it's there's no addiction anymore. It's just it's a hot day. It
Right.
sounds good.
Right.
So
Yeah. No, I haven't drank soda in years.
Mhm.
And I was opening up their second fridge to see what was like.
Mhm.
I grew up in Texas. So my parents' best friends, they own the Dr. Pepper plant in Brownwood. So I grew up on Diet Dr. Pepper and they had a Diet Dr. Pepper and I was like, just try this. I was like, oh, this is good.
Yep, yep. And that's, I mean, going back to the MADE diet, you know, I'm sure in the MADE diet, I talk about how bad artificial sweeteners are. They are bad for
Yeah.
you, but you know, and I don't even want to say moderation is key. It's really every once in a blue moon. I mean,
Yeah.
when I say moderation, I'm afraid people think, you know, it's okay to have, you know, 7 to 10 a week. It's really not.
No, no.
You don't have to have it that often, but
I think both of
Let's
us
never
have
say
become
never.
less militant
Yeah.
about it. And so that's the thing. I mean, that's why I'm sharing. Like I've had a soda 3 days in a row
Yeah.
and that's not normal for me. And will I do that when I go back? Nope. But like, I'm not gonna feel guilty about drinking soda,
Mhm.
you know, while I was here
and alcohol.
and alcohol. Yeah.
Yeah, neither
Yeah.
of us. I mean, I don't drink when nobody's here. You don't drink. when
Right,
you're-
exactly. Yeah. My nurse Jillian was like, please tell me you've had at least one margarita. I'm like, girl, I've had at least one every single day. Yes. And there was one day I had 3 drinks.
Yeah.
That's big time for me. I mean, it was over the span of like what,
Sure.
3 or
Several
4 hours.
Yeah.
But yeah. But I mean, neither of us are perfect. We don't want you to, you know,
Mhm.
that's the thing. There's so many people that'll only show their perfect side and whatever. And man, we are flawed creatures just like you.
And my social media lovingly would call me out because like I would show that I was eating pizza or I was having dessert and people would message me like, oh my gosh, you eat that kind of stuff. And I'm like, oops. Because, you know, I'm trying to show people how to eat healthy.
Right.
And so I'm always taking pictures of my healthy meals,
Yeah.
void of, well, it doesn't mean I eat that all the time. It wasn't intentional, but it was
Right.
like, why take a picture of a piece of pizza? Because I'm not telling you how to make it. I'm not telling you, you know, how good
Right.
it is for you. But now I get,
Yeah.
they have to see both
Yes.
sides,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
both sides.
Absolutely. You don't have to be a robot and be 100% eating perfect all the time.
Mhm.
We know people like that. That's not a lifestyle that we would want.
Mhm.
Just saying, like, if that's what floats your boat, cool, good for you. No judgment,
Yeah.
but that's a life that I have zero desire
Mm-mm.
leading.
Never would.
Yeah.
I would rather look a little less optimal and have more freedom with the way that I live my life than to look tits
Yes.
and be really militant.
Yeah,
That's just a personal choice.
for sure. For sure. Anything else we need to talk about before we wrap this up?
Mm, 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 mm.
Do you want to see if any of your people
yeah.
filled out that, we thought about this last minute, like, what are we going to talk about? And then she's like, I can ask on social media if anyone has questions. And there's like 2.
There's a lot.
Okay.
What's your biggest struggles? She's so amazing on so many levels and seems to have no doubts.
Oh, gosh.
Good one.
That was a good question. Who asked that? Ash
Stearns.
Stearns.
Good.
Man, geez, put me on the spot, Ash Stearns. Biggest struggle. My biggest struggle. So my biggest insecurity is the fact that I've been married twice, and dating. I always dread that moment where I have to reveal, like, not only did I fail once at marriage, but I failed twice. I married the wrong dude twice in my 20s.
Did you fail?
I mean, yeah, I did. That's my biggest struggle, because I feel like I've got every other aspect of my life figured out, but that's still just a shit show. And I've been in and out of a relationship for almost 3 years now. And sometimes I think, okay, this is, and then sometimes I'm like, no. And I don't know. That's my biggest struggle. I don't have it all figured out by all means. And I will, like, looking back at the biggest leaps of faith that I took that were really scary. I mean, starting a business in a town that I've never lived in, and starting a brand new medical practice with really minimal guidance at all. That was scary back in 2020. But, fear is what? False evidence appearing real. I mean, once you got over those struggles, like, I mean, here I am, and I got no regrets. The only regret I have is that I didn't take the covenant of marriage serious. I don't know why I didn't. I grew up, seeing it, not just in my parents, but, almost no one in my family is divorced. None of my friends' parents are divorced. That's my biggest struggle. Didn't think I would be 45 and still single.
You're 45, not 46. 45?
45.
Okay.
Yep.
So you just turned 46.
Just turned 45.
Sorry, I'm aging you. I just want her for a doctor here in Canada. She walks the walk.
Oh, who asked that?
Love Rock.
Thank you, Love Rock. I appreciate it.
Someone asked about your flaws. There are none.
Oh, stop.
Seriously.
No, I've got plenty of
I mean, she's stunning on camera. And I don't know if you ever see, she talks on it seriously, just kind of like, she's got like the longest lashes, the most beautiful blue eyes, and the perfect lips. I love her. I've told her this for years. She'll be saying something so serious, and I'm just doing it on her lips, like, and they're natural.
Everyone needs a friend like Melissa.
What specifically happened to urge you to take the deep dive into all things hormones?
Oh, my own shit show of hormones. I mean, if you listen to the Mind Pump episode where they interviewed me, I mean, that I briefly touched on it. I mean, I knew what I was doing, and I knew that I shouldn't have to be damn perfect in everything to look the way I think I should look and feel the way I think I should feel. And it didn't make sense to me. I mean, it wasn't like I was eating McDonald's every day and sitting on my ass. Like, I was doing the things. And that's when I was like, there has to be a missing piece of the puzzle. And sure enough, I mean, I'm convinced. I opened Laura Med in 2020, just practicing functional medicine. And I mean, I have patients that literally, like, my very first patient, shout out Diane, love her. Literally, I've had patients with me since day one with functional medicine, and so many of them, the missing link, they were doing all the things, but the missing link was the hormones. Yeah.
And she says this constantly. It's so rewarding because you've never seen such a change in your patients than getting their balance, their hormones optimized.
Because everyone, when they first start working with me as just functional medicine, like, I give them a food plan, we change lifestyle, and a lot of them have already changed a lot of the lifestyle, so they always felt better in the initial whatever. What?
I'm watching your lips. Oh, I just caught myself.
He needs to take that clip for Instagram. That like, what did she do? Oh, okay.
If you guys watch, you'll see. I mean, she's saying something really important, and I'm like, oh,
I'm like, wait, what's going on? What were we talking about?
about we're talking about hormones. Sorry. We'll move on.
Yeah.
Sorry, you guys. That was distracting. Face non-invasive treatments with natural results. Are they worth the money? I don't know if you understand.
Oh
that
yeah.
well, I do.
Yeah. So non-invasive treatments for aesthetics for the face with natural results. So definitely, so like the Morpheus, the microneedling with radio frequency energy. So Morpheus,
And her, I mean, her skin looks great, and you guys see her use these things, and seriously,
it has changed definitely since I started doing all the
Mhm.
things. It's not perfect still by any means, but my skin has definitely gotten better since I've opened Laura Mermet. I would hope so. I've
Yeah.
spent a lot of money on those machines. Let's be real. That machine I think cost me like 150K. Yeah, so it's an expensive procedure, but it's worth it. So you numb up at the face. I highly recommend using nitrous oxide
was
when
fun.
yeah, the laughing gas. And then you have this machine that basically does microneedling at different depths and gives radio frequency, reduces your body's natural collagen and elastin production. It tightens up the skin. It makes the tone better. It's a great procedure. I like, because as we get older, we lose volume in our face, especially if you've been on, the Ozempic. Like so many people lost so much weight too fast, and you have, no volume in the face, and that makes you end up looking older. So doing the natural fillers like the biostimulators like Sculptra, Radius, those are my favorite. So I have Sculptra and Radius in my face. Other non-invasive procedures. Dermaplaning. So, I mean, let's be real. Dermaplaning is just shaving your face. But they name it something else for us girls, so I don't say I shave my face. But dermaplane is literally just a blade, and it takes off the fine vellus hair that gets worse as you age. But also, it's the best exfoliator too. So you're constantly exfoliating. So like I used to have my estheticians just always do my dermaplaning, but I just do it myself. And yes, I cut myself every now and then, and it's fine. It heals just fine. But I think that's made a huge difference.
This
as well.
sun is, very bright. And so I was downstairs in the bathroom yesterday looking in my mirror, and I really could see the amount of hair on my face. And I was like, I don't know. It's just, it has to be the right lighting, but we really do have a lot of hair on our face.
Yeah. And as we get older, it becomes a lot more.
And it doesn't, you do nothing to make it come back.
No.
It doesn't, because I hear that's a big fear of people. I'm afraid it'll come back more coarse or thicker. Or, no. Okay, what are the qualities you're looking for in a partner?
Oh man, he's got to be a believer. Like we've got to be on the same page. Like I really just, that's number one. Number two, he's got to be driven. He doesn't have to be wealthy. Like I don't care about money. Money doesn't bring happiness. Like but he can't be lazy and not be driven. I would prefer for him to be tall, dark, and handsome. He's got to take care of his body. Like the dating apps are just painful. They're, anytime I get on them, I'm just a reminder, like no one takes care of their health.
Yeah.
And you would think if you're single in your 40s or above that would be a motivator, but you gotta prioritize your health. If we're going to grow old together, I don't want to be like, yes, for better or for worse, that's the covenant. So if something terrible happens, I will definitely be there to take care of you till the last days. But like, if you've spent 45, 50 years not taking care of your body and you're just looking for someone to take care of you in your elder years, I'm not that person.
They have to love to travel, and
they have to love to travel. Yes.
Homebody.
Yes, they have to love to travel. And I used to I'm not opposed to meeting someone that's not in Illinois, because I know Illinois is not my forever place, especially not
that was a question.
Yeah,
if you ever leave Illinois.
I would. Oh yeah, for sure. I'm not going to be in Illinois forever. Are you kidding me? No,
maybe Mexico.
Yeah. Oh, trust me. I'm thinking about buying property here. Trust me. Yeah, especially after being here and seeing how y'all do it.
It's a Lauren haven here. He said that on our walk. He goes, she really would thrive here, wouldn't she?
Yeah.
Because I could really see her getting on a bike every morning and
100%
riding to a cenote.
100%. Absolutely. Like I am in my element here.
Yeah.
Yes. You don't unleash the beast because I'm going to be like, we shouldn't have ever invited her.
It just took so
Yeah,
long.
I know, but
So long.
but yeah, but I'm always a cup is half full kind of girl,
Mhm.
and so I know the odds are against me finding that man, but I still believe that he's out there,
Absolutely, absolutely.
and
It costs
maybe
time.
he's already in my life, and that man is just becoming the man that he needs to be for me before we go to the next step. You know,
Yeah.
I'm just praying that like just I'm trying to be quiet and listen to what God has to say. I'm terrible about that,
Yeah.
you know?
I love that.
So, any other good questions?
Mm-mm.
All right.
A lot of repeats.
Yeah,
A lot of repeats.
Yeah.
Everybody, I mean, they want to know your flaws or your doubts, but because you're so professional, and I think that's one of the reasons why I was pulled to do this is
Yeah.
because, she drinks alcohol, she drinks diet soda, I drink diet soda. Mick and I argue.
Definitely.
We've had you had a tough few years with your business, Mick and I.
did.
We won't go into detail, but literally the brushes with death that Mick has had over.
Y'all.
You guys don't know and how hard that is for me. I'm just making it about me.
Yeah. When we say 9 lives, Mick might have 18.
Yeah, and he's down to 2.
Yeah. God love that man. He's literally like my brother from another mother.
Yeah, he does.
So, but yeah, but we just want you guys to know we are so appreciative. I mean, gratitude is truly the number one word that I keep thinking, because the ability to have a platform and have an audience that, are anxiously wanting to learn all of the things in a non-judgmental place, and just give support. And I don't know, I feel massive amounts of gratitude, because I mean, we couldn't be here without the incredible people on the other side of this video or this audio.
And it's very difficult for me, and it probably is for you as well. It's always very difficult to ask for help. Very independent women, but we talk a lot about how, and I don't want to say the word suppressed, but building and reaching more women is difficult for us because we're very honest. We don't do the clickbait. We don't, walk around with a lot of skin showing. And so we don't get that growth. We don't want that growth.
I only had 56,000 people that follow me on Instagram. Like,
it
should be way more than that. And
way more than that.
And I know how to do it, but I'm not going to sell myself well.
Same. And so asking you for help, that what helps us is,
Yes.
if you comment, you like it, you share it, you mention, maybe for good people to follow.
Yeah.
We'll always shoot it straight.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that helps the algorithm, and the algorithm is at the root of, why accounts like ours don't grow. Accounts that are controversial, that will,
Well, even I mean, literally right now, I have in the health and wellness space, there's just this, because it works, these people just attacking other people.
Yep.
And I'm just like,
yeah,
I can never do that to another account.
I know.
No matter, I will see something that I so disagree with, but I'm like, it's their freedom of speech. It's their page.
Exactly.
If somebody comes to me, I'm going to be honest, and I'm going to tell, and maybe I can go onto my social media and say, here's my beliefs with this, but I would never, ever do that. But that's what's popular.
Yep.
But we don't want to do that. So okay, we have your help.
Yes. Please and thank you. Yes. So we appreciate you guys nonetheless. If this was helpful, this particular episode was helpful, please share it, tag your friends, all of the things. And no surprise to you, haven't come up with a saying. So, so she's going to wrap it up with hers.
Yes. We want you to wake up feeling prepared and go to bed feeling proud. You guys have a great day.
Bye.